guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm back this week with another video for you guys, but today I'm going to be updating you guys on my foundation routine for combination skin. It is a very long wearing, very full coverage, suitable for a variety of skin types since I do have combination skin. So if you guys want to see that, keep on watching. But if you're not subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and let's get started with this foundation routine. So the very first thing I do whenever I want to get a very flawless base is do my skincare at least 10 minutes before doing my foundation. I have a video on how I do my skincare, so I will tap that at the top of the screen for you guys. But 10 minutes after that, I go in with a primer, and the primer that literally never fails me is this Beauty Blender De-Leveler Pore Minimizing Primer. I squared out about that much in my finger, and then with my hands, I put it pretty much all over my face. Just make sure you wash your hands before you do anything with your hands on your face. You don't want to be spreading germs all over the place. As you can see, that primer alone mattified everything and it evened everything out before I even put in the foundation. I have a review on the primer. I'm gonna tap that at the top of the screen as well. And now I'm gonna go in with foundation, which is, I believe, the most important step in having a flawless base. This is the Dior Forever foundation. This is my favorite foundation ever. I also have a full length review on this foundation, which I will also tap at the top of the screen. I'm gonna do 2 pumps of it, and I'm gonna put those 2 pumps on my Tarte silicone sponge. Now I do a silicone sponge because it allows me to use less product and get more coverage, because I find that if I put my 2 pumps straight onto a beauty blender, the beauty blender is gonna soak up most of the product, so you're gonna be losing out on a lot of product. And when I use foundation, I want to use the least amount of product possible so that I don't look cakey at all. And I'm gonna apply this on my face very liberally with my silicone sponge. Then I kind of swipe it everywhere just to get it distributed evenly. And then I go in with a beauty blender to blend it out. This is the original beauty blender. I also really like the Sigma 3D HD sponge as well as the Morphe sponge, so it doesn't have to be a beauty blender. I just really like this one, and then I just bounce it in. I don't like dragging it, I don't like rubbing it, I like to bounce it, so just tap your skin very lightly. Don't forget to drag it down on your neck. Now on the neck, I do drag it down. I don't really bounce it, but that's just because I want to get the excess product from my chin down to my neck so that I don't have a demarcation line. I don't worry too much about getting product on my under eye because I'm going to be using concealer for that. I did forget to mention, whenever you're using a sponge like this, make sure it is dampened. I don't recommend using a dry sponge because that's just gonna make your makeup super hard to blend. It's also gonna soak up more product and it's gonna be really rough on your skin. You don't want it to be too wet either, because if you have a sponge that's just wet, not damp, it can pretty much ruin your foundation because you're adding too much water to your foundation. So make sure it is not too wet, not too dry, just right in between. So now I'm gonna move on to concealer. For concealer, I'm gonna use my favorite concealer. This is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in Light Neutral. I am first gonna apply it on my face. Now when I apply concealer on my face, I like to do the high points of my face and the under eye. I go with the chin, upper lip. I like to do it around my nose, the bridge of the nose, and the forehead. And then I also do a little bit right here so that it is highlighted under my contour. So I'm gonna blend this out with my beauty blender as well. And again, use tapping motions. Don't drag it, don't bounce it too hard either, just be very gentle with your skin. If you're using good quality products, they should blend out really easily, so you shouldn't have to beat your face. So now that my face concealer is blended, I'm gonna do the under eye. The reason I do them separate is because I don't like my concealer sitting on my skin for too long, because it is easier to blend if you blend it right away. So now let's go in with the under eye. With the under eye, I do go in pretty heavy-handed because I do have dark circles. And now I go in with that same beauty blender we've been using, and again I tap. You definitely don't want to rub your face when you're doing your under eye because that is the most gentle area of your face. That literally took me like 20 seconds and it's already blended. My dark circles are canceled and it blended into the foundation very nicely. So that is what I really like about using a sponge as opposed to a brush. I feel like with a brush, you're being way more rough on your skin. You also have to like drag it more. So for powder, I'm gonna use my favorite powder. This is the Lancôme Long Time No Shine Translucent Setting Powder. I also have a whole video dedicated to this powder, so I'm gonna link that at the top of the screen as well for you guys. But I love the finish this powder gives. It is very, very fine. It is very easy to use. It doesn't have any flashback either. So I'm gonna go in with the under eye first because that's what creases the fastest. I'm gonna grab the powder with my beauty sponge, the beauty blender, and then I'm gonna very liberally just set my under eye. As you can tell, that is a lot of powder, but I do like to use a lot of powder because it helps my face not crease. It also helps control the oil. So I'm gonna look like a ghost for a few minutes, but it's worth it. I'm just grabbing more powder with that same sponge and just setting my whole face. Now on the rest of the face, I do go with less product than on my T-zone. I put the most powder on my under eye and my T-zone because that's where I get the most oily. Now I'm not gonna let the powder sit there for too long. It's been like 30 seconds. I'm already gonna take it off. So what I do, I go in with my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH03 brush and I buff out the powder that's still left on my face. I'm gonna grab a little bit of powder with the same brush and I'm gonna put it down the neck because I do have foundation down my neck and I also want to set it. And I also do my ears because my ears are right next to my face and I don't want to have pasty white ears on a bronzed face. That's not the look I'm going for. So now before I move on to any other powders in my face, my main base is already done. So I'm gonna go in with a setting spray to set it in place. My favorite setting spray is the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I've been using this for over a year now and it just doesn't fail me. So I'm just gonna set my face with my setting spray. Now I'm gonna tap my skin with the setting spray in place to kind of blend that setting spray into my foundation. It also helps it dry a little faster if you're in a time crunch. So this is my foundation completed. As you can tell, it is very smooth. I don't have any pores because of my primer and foundation. I'm not oily anywhere. I'm also not dry anywhere. There's no dry patches. It really looks like this is my skin that looks like this. You can't see any powder. It's just very seamless and it is also very, very long wearing. I am now gonna do my contour. I know contouring is not really part of your foundation routine, but I'm just gonna do this with you guys because why not? I am gonna be using my Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I'm gonna be using the darkest shade to contour and I'm gonna be using my Sephora number 79 contour brush. Now for contour, I'm gonna start right at the top of my cheekbones. I'm gonna move down and I go in very quick circular motions. Always make sure to get it into your hairline because if you don't get it into your hairline, you're gonna see a demarcation line right here and that is not a look. Always make sure to also go a little bit up to the temple right here because it makes it look more blended as opposed to having just a harsh line. Now with that same shade and that same brush, I'm gonna do my jawline. For the jawline, I am way more, I guess, rough. I draw like a literal line and then I blend it down in very quick circular motions as well. So now for my forehead, I don't like to use that very deep shade. I like to go a little bit lighter, but I also like to have a little bit of a glow because my forehead is not too big, so I don't want to contour it too much. So I really like using my Hourglass Ambient Light Bronzer in Luminous Bronze Light, and I use that same Sephora number 79 brush, and I just go in circular motions. Again, very quick circular motions. Don't forget to go into your hairline so that you don't have a demarcation line, and don't forget to connect your temple contour to your forehead contour so that it looks cohesive. So now that my contour is done, I always like to highlight, and to highlight I use the two lightest shades in the Kat Von D Shade and Light powder palette and my beauty blender. So I'm gonna grab my beauty blender, I'm gonna dip into the banana shade and then the lightest shade, and I'm gonna highlight my face and my under eye. I always go in with the face first. I'm using tapping motions. You don't want to rub it because if you rub your skin with a sponge, it's gonna kind of disrupt the foundation underneath. I also like to use these two powders with my sponge to clean up my contour. So when I'm cleaning up my contour, I grab more powder than to highlight, and I just draw a line like that. So now that I pretty much placed that there, I tap it so that it looks blended. You don't want to leave a harsh line either. And to blend it, all you have to do is just tap your beauty blender, and your beauty blender will pretty much do the work for you. Now when I'm doing the under eye, when I'm highlighting it, I like to go in with more of the banana shade than this one right here. I like the banana shade more because it cancels out darkness better than the other one. I'm just gonna go in and highlight my under eye now. So now that we're highlighted and bronzed and contoured, I'm gonna go in with some blush, and I'm gonna be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Blush Trio in Pool Party. And I like to go in with this shade right here and this one. I don't like the middle one too much because I feel like it's a little bit too bright for the look I'm going for. And I'm gonna go in with my Morphe and Jaclyn Hill JH06 right here. Now with blush, I just tap the blushes very lightly, mixing them together, and then I go in very feather-like strokes on my cheeks. I don't apply pressure at all. I literally just go like very lightly touching your skin so that it doesn't look too powerful, like it doesn't look too pigmented. So now I'm gonna go in with my beauty blender with the little bottom side, and I'm gonna tap the edges of all my contour, all my blush, all around my face to blend any edges that are still kind of there. And now I'm gonna grab with my Sephora number 79 brush some of this middle shade right here from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, and I'm gonna do my nose. Now for my nose, I use this shade because it is not too dark, and I just bronze the nose. I don't have any big technique because I feel like my nose is not big, so I don't want to contour. I just want to add some color to it so that it blends into the rest of the face. So now we're gonna move on to highlighting the face. For highlighter, I like to use any highlighter. I don't have like a specific one that's like my top favorite, although lately I've been using the Becca highlighter in Champagne Pop a lot. I also really like the highlighters in the Carly Bible palette, the deluxe edition one. Wet n Wild highlighters are pretty great as well. Just any highlighter works, and I'm gonna be using my JH09 brush by Morphe. Just gonna tap it on here, and I like to go on the high tops of my cheeks, and I go in very feather-like strokes, kind of like the blush, so that when you apply it, it looks blended. I also like to drag it into my temple a bit, but I don't go higher than this. I don't put highlighter on my forehead, just right on the temple. And then I also really like to do the Cupid's bow. I feel like it makes my lipstick look better. And then I do a very light touch on my nose. I don't put too much on my nose because my nose tends to get oily. That is it. That is my base. And the very last step I do is some setting spray. I'm gonna go back in with my Morphe setting spray, and again with my beauty blender to help the setting spray dry into the skin. So what that very last mist of setting spray is gonna do is just gonna melt all those powders into your skin. So I know I have a lot of powder on my face, but as you can tell, it is not cakey at all. Everything's blended and melted together. So this is how I do my foundation. I'm gonna finish my makeup and I'll be back. Alright guys, so that is how I do my foundation, concealer, powder, pretty much my whole base routine. I hope you guys found that helpful. I hope you guys learned some tips and tricks to do your own foundation at home. I haven't done a foundation routine update on my YouTube channel since like 2017, so it's been a hot minute since I've updated you guys on how I do my foundation. A lot has changed since then. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. If you did, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to my channel before you leave. Don't forget, I have a giveaway going on right now for my 1,000 subscribers. I will link it at the top of the screen, but if you go to that video, you comment on that video, and you subscribe to my channel, you are entered to win all the goodies. So thank you so much for the support. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you on my next video. Bye guys.